The year was 1988. The location was Lubbock, Texas, the largest ballroom in the largest hotel in the town or city of Lubbock, Texas. If you've never been to Lubbock, here's a little description. Flat. Lubbock is flat. You can look out to the east in Lubbock and see the back of your head. This is how flat Lubbock, Texas is. We had driven 7 or 8 hours to attend a Cutco conference, my second ever Vector conference. Toward the end of the first day of the conference, it was a 2-day ordeal. The gentleman took the stage and changed my life forever. The words that he spoke were some of the most important words that I'd ever heard in my life. Completely changed my direction, changed the way I thought about life, the way I thought about success, the way I thought about the world, and the way I thought about how I was going to make my way in the world. And the title of the message was called The Fork in the Road. And I will never forget how he started it off. He said, housed deep within your Cutco cranium, there are two sides of the brain, the champ and the chump. The champ will say, you can do it. The chump will say, you might fail. The champ is positive. The chump is negative. The champ says, go for it. The chump says, well, you can do it later. The champ is goal-oriented. The chump is aimless. The champ sees an opportunity in every problem, yet the chump sees a problem in every opportunity. And the most important point is that we are always choosing. You see, the voice of the champ and the chump, every one of us has it. The voice we choose to listen to wins. But we do choose. Make no mistake. And we do have a choice. You know, life is really all about choices. Where we are is determined by the choices we've made in our life up to this point. Some things we don't have choices about, but we choose how we respond to scenarios and situations that we're put in. But the most important factor of that is that our future is in a very, very big way influenced by the choices we make today. You know, the past does not equal the future. Not sure if you've ever heard that statement, but that can be a very positive statement for a lot of people. Well, it should be a positive statement for everyone. You see, if you're the kind of person who you've enjoyed your journey up to this point, let's say even specifically within our business, you like how things have gone, you like where you are, it doesn't mean that the future is going to be that way if you change the way you approach things. And if you're not excited about your results up to this point, well, you know what? That doesn't dictate what your results are going to be moving forward. So Vector is what's called a microcosm of life. What that means is the very same principles that help a person succeed in Vector are the exact same principles that help them be a successful human. And I know success is determined a lot of different ways. Success isn't necessarily just determined by how much money someone makes, although that is certainly an indicator in our culture of what makes someone, at least a portion of what makes someone considered successful. Some of the things I'm talking about, the challenge of a new opportunity, that's prevalent in Vector. That's prevalent in life. That's just something that people are going to need to face over and over again. And learning how to face it properly through the mentorship of Vector management, Vector leadership, helps people to do that. Competition. Like it or not, competition is part of life, right? You will be competing for jobs. You will be competing in the money game of life. It's not like you get to choose, I'm a competitive person or I'm not a competitive person. We all have to be competitive, just based on being human beings. It's not like we get to choose that. And the competition in Vector prepares people for other forms and kinds of competition that will exist in their future. Fear of rejection. This is prevalent. This will be omnipresent in all facets of life, right? Parents, when they talk to their children, every single time they make suggestions or every time they offer advice or anything, they're facing possible rejection, right? You can't get away from it. And the higher up people go in business, the higher up people go in successful operations and organizations, the more prevalent that is going to be. Self-development, just the simple idea of being the best that we can be, constantly improving. We're constantly going to be changing in life, right? We're always going to be moving up or down in any particular category. And just learning how to put self-development as a priority is an incredibly important factor in life success. What about just the importance of mindset? How someone's mindset affects their results and affects everything in their direction, affects their happiness. This is something that people can learn in our business. The importance of self-esteem. learning how to have confidence, building on successes, how to have some faith in processes and how to have faith in programs and have faith in oneself in order to get up and do it again another day, to make another phone call, right? All that has to do with building self-esteem. Perhaps one of the most important factors of success and life fulfillment and to being able to influence others to be successful and to have a fulfilling life is that factor, just understanding self-esteem. And then of course, work ethic, right? People can learn how to work hard in our business. They can also learn how to not work hard, unfortunately. But the opportunity to learn how to work hard exists here, and it doesn't really exist in other places. I worked at a fast food restaurant when I was younger before I sold Cutco, and I could choose to work hard, so to speak, but I can't make the fries cook any faster, or I could try to work faster and everything. But there's a big difference when work ethic is someone telling you what to do this, do this, do this. Here are your tasks, go do it, as opposed to, hey, here's my life, and I get to choose to work or not to work. That's where work ethic is developed in a business that offers a lot more freedom. And well, we'll get into freedom a little bit more in a moment. The sales and marketing function, I want you to understand, is fundamental to the free enterprise system. What people don't recognize, usually, when they're younger, in fact, a lot of people, even when they're not younger, they don't recognize that without sales and marketing, nobody else would have a job. No other job exists until people like us do our job. There's an old saying, nothing happens until somebody sells something. Okay, think about all the people that have jobs because we do our job, because we specifically in the Cutco business, we sell Cutco knives, right? Now, of course, all the factory workers that work for our amazing company that makes the product, they all have jobs because of us. All the other ancillary businesses in the town of Olean, New York that support all of the consumer needs for those people in the factory, those people have jobs because we do our job. But let's get away from that. Let's think about a company like UPS, for example, who does a large amount of our deliveries. So many people from UPS have jobs because people like us do our job. The better we do our job provides job security for the people who work at the UPS outlets all across the country. The drivers and the people that work behind the counters and the people that make the labels that UPS uses, right? There's probably, I don't know if UPS makes their own labels or they outsource it. The people that manufacture the trucks, right? The car companies that make the trucks and the tires. Think about the company that makes the tires that go on the UPS trucks. How many UPS trucks are in business because people like us, we do our job? That gives those people who make the tires a job, right? How about the people that paint the trucks brown, right? How about the people that make the brown paint that they paint the trucks with? How about the company that makes the cans that the paint goes in, right? How about the company that makes the labels, the company that makes the paper that makes the labels on the cans that the paint goes in? Are you starting to understand? Right? Nobody has a job until people like us do our job. So the next time someone gives you a hard time about selling knives, I want you to just look them in the eye and say, hey, dude, you wouldn't have a job if I didn't do my job. So get off me, right? Because that is the fundamental, it's fundamental to commerce, fundamental to business, that there's somebody selling something. Okay, just so happens we happen to sell the best of any somethings that are out there, at least in my opinion. So that makes me feel good that I'm doing something that is doing amazing for the people that are purchasing our product. But there's so many more people that benefit when we do our job, and I think that's lost on a lot of people that don't quite understand that. So the fork in the road basically happens for most people, they reach this fork in the road somewhere between the ages of 18 and 24 years old. And what is this fork? Well, the fork is basically this idea of a guarantee versus an incentive. Okay, now think about the Vector Pay program, by the way, right? We have a guarantee and we have an incentive. When I talk about a microcosm of life, there are choices and decisions that Cutco reps learn to make just by being part of our program. So what does this mean, a guarantee versus an incentive? Well, it's really the difference between a paycheck and a commission. Let me get more detail. A wage or profit, right? A wage or a salary. Jim Rohn, who's a mentor to many people in Vector, have read his books, listens to his audios, watched his videos. He talks about that profits are better than wages, right? Profits are better than wages, and he goes into describe in detail why that is. Let me try to dig into that just a little bit. So, what are the kind of jobs that are on the wage side of the fork, okay, or of the road over here, right? Factory workers, people who work in a warehouse, people who work in retail stores, people who work in offices. Many people work in offices. People who work for the government. These are the kinds of jobs that are on this one side of this road here. Now, look at the profit side. The people that are the doctors, the attorneys, people in the entertainment industry, business owners, and of course, salespeople. These are the people that are on the profit side of the road. Now, if you look at what's on the left-hand side, you see, generally speaking, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole any particular job, or I'm not trying to cast stones. We need people in all kinds of jobs. But for me, the road that I choose because of this diagram. So the left side of the road offers routine, offers oftentimes anonymity. There's not a whole lot of individuality that goes along there, and the opportunity is almost always limited. Like there's a ceiling where someone can get to in their income and just in their fulfillment. Oftentimes, what's on the other side? Well, on the other side, there's a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of freedom. People who are in these kinds of businesses, these kinds of roles, have what most of us think that we want, but we don't really realize that in order to get this flexibility and this freedom in life, or this individuality, or have opportunities that are unlimited, we got to be on this profit side of things and not on the wage side of things. And once again, I want to reiterate: I'm not telling anybody where they should be, because we need, for our country to work, for our world to work, we need people on both of these sides for sure. But why, you might ask, why do people choose the side on the left? Why would people choose this wage side when it's routine and a lot of anonymity and it's very limited? And here's the reason: it's security versus risk. Right? There are people that think that having that security is far greater than the benefits of being on the other side of the road. And I have some very specific thoughts on this. My biggest thought on this is security really all that secure? I think about it. Where do all the unemployed people come from? Right? Especially in this particular day and age. I'm recording this in the year 2020. We just had this global pandemic and this quarantine, and lots of people lost their jobs and were furloughed. Most of those people, they were on this secure side of the fork, right? People that work for themselves, they have opportunity to pivot, adjust, make changes that can help their business navigate crazy times like we have had. So is it all that secure? And let's just say it is. It were, but I don't really believe it's where security comes from. I believe security is in making your own decisions, right? I believe security comes in adding value to the world. If you can add value to the world, you're going to be able to get paid for it in most cases. But how great is security? You take security to the extreme. I mean, I know I'm going almost off the deep end here, but you take security to the extreme, and what do you got? You got military, which I love our military. Military, they don't get a lot of choices while they're enlisted. It would be dangerous to have too much choices, right? They got to follow orders. Here's when you get up. Here's when you eat. Here's when you go to bed, right? That's obviously super secure. But you take that to the furthest step, and you basically have prison. Prison, you have lots of security with regards to, when you're going to eat, you're going to have food, you're going to have shelter, you're going to have this, and you might not have security because of the dangers or the risks involved in being in prison. Understand the point that I'm trying to make here. But all those things are taken care of. All those basic necessities of life, are taken care of. Whereas on the risk side, people are like, well, how can you function? And I have people ask me this: how can you function not knowing what your paycheck is going to be, right, every single week, or how much you're going to earn from one year to the next, right? Well, first of all, I do pretty much know. I've been in business long enough. I can make right kind of projections and know if I do these certain things, and I understand the averages well enough that I can make a pretty good prediction. But the cool thing is I can say, well, here's what will happen if we just do normal, but I got a chance to do this, right? I got a chance to earn this, or I got a chance to accomplish this. That adds a whole element of excitement and energy to the day-to-day life that I have. All right. And people ask me, how can you operate not knowing, how much you're going to earn in a month or how much you're going to earn in a year? I turn around and say the same thing. I don't know how you can operate knowing exactly what you're going to earn, right? And there's no room for ambition to do more or accomplish more or make more or earn more. Anyway, so it's just a different way of thinking, obviously, as you can tell. So for me, and again, I can't speak for anybody else, but for me, what sealed the deal and kind of gave me proof that this right side of the road, the incentive side of the road, was the right choice for me, is that all the people on the left side, the guarantee side, all the people over there are working for people on the right side, right, on the incentive side. So I remember hearing someone, I believe it was Brian Tracy, said that if you're not working toward your own goals, you're doomed to work towards somebody else's goals. And that really hit hard with me when that concept really sunk in to me. You know, being on the guarantee side, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's kind of like being a jackal. You know, it's a jackal. You know, eats what the lion has as a leftover, right? And jackals, they scavenge on what the lions can spare. Being on the incentive side is like being the lion. It's like making decisions, acting on the decisions, reaping the reward. We whatever we have left over, that's what we use to to pay people or to pay salary or wages to people who are working for the people who are the owners. So I think it's put this way: if you don't build your own dream, someone else will hire you to help build their dream. That's just another way of putting what I had mentioned a little bit earlier. So we all get to choose kind of where we want to be, right? What's important. And for people who have made it this far in the Cutco business, I say made it this far, if you've made any sales whatsoever, then I think it's important to be exposed to this concept and this kind of idea. You know, most people want the incentive side. They really do want the incentive side, but they're just afraid to commit because committing to that, there's a potential failure, and they're just afraid to let go of the side of the pool and go swimming. We could sit in the water at a swimming pool and we can hang on to the side and we can kick our feet around and we can get wet and we can kind of say, hey, we went swimming, but we didn't really go swimming, did we? We don't swim until we let go of the side of the pool and let go of these things that we're holding on to that we think are creating all this security. You know, Beverly Sills said, you may be disappointed if you fail, but you're doomed to fail if you don't even try. So once again, Vector teaches these things. It's a microcosm of the important factors, the important things in life. So reps make a decision really early in their Vector career, which of these sides they're going to focus on. And people do choose, and you can see some people start to realize maybe it's a couple of days into the job, maybe it's a couple of weeks into the job. It's like, hey, this base pay thing, what's the point? Right? Because the people that focus on the base pay, guess what? They don't make it very long. Why? Because the job's not fun. It's not fun. It's not exciting if someone's trying to get the base pay, right? They might last a week or two or three, but once someone kind of flips the switch in their brain and realizes, oh, I get it. It's a profit deal, right? If you saw an old Steve Martin movie, you will understand that reference. So we make that decision, and in life, we're going to make that decision whether we're going to choose to pursue things in our life that are on the incentive side or choose things in life that are on the guarantee side, right? That's just a choice that we're going to make, and I made that choice a long time ago. And the idea of working for an hourly wage, punching a time clock, for me personally, it's just offensive, right? Someone else telling me how much an hour of my time is worth. That's tough for me. It would be very, very difficult for me to accept that type of thinking. You know, in our business, your risk is really very small, considering that most people that start working with this, they live at home. Not everybody, but a lot of them live at home. They don't have families and mortgages and a lot of huge bills that will pile up and create negative repercussions if we were to fall behind on some of those things. This is the time to take risk. The time to take risk is when someone's young and the risk is mitigated by the fact that you're still going to eat. You're not going to be living on a street homeless if you don't succeed at the highest level. But you think about risk in Vector compared to risk for most opportunity out there. Our risk is very minimal. What does it cost somebody to get started in Cutco? A whopping free 99, right? Zero. No investment whatsoever. A few days of training, some advanced training, some team events, some workshops, things like that. And that's it. Someone who works part-time during school, as long as they just work consistently, we're talking about a $30,000 to $50,000 a year income for very minimal effort. That's like a 10-hour a week type of effort. That's pretty great. Okay, but then you think about if someone actually were to work, like put in real energy and effort in the job. I mean, developing marketing systems like some of our top Cutco sales professionals have done. I mean, it's a very real six-figure income. In fact, we have hundreds of people that earn six figures, some people that earn a couple of $100,000. We have a few people that earn $400,000 to $500,000 a year. That's not even the managers. That's just the sales reps, right? You move into management and the income opportunity has tremendous upside, but really the upside of being in management is not just the money. It's really the fulfillment and the reward of of what we do on a daily basis, right? Helping people learn and understand these concepts that I'm talking about, right? And how it affects their life and how that's going to affect hundreds and hundreds of lives. I mean, our job as managers is exponentially amazing, because if I teach someone some basic principles on how to think properly, how to have good self-esteem, and they go on and they become a better parent because of it, well, and they can nurture their child better because they have developed more patience, maybe because they were a branch manager in our company. Well, because that parent is more patient with their child, they might be nurtured in such a way that they're going to be maximizing their opportunity, and they go out and they cure cancer, right? Or they learn something that revolutionizes the world, right? Because they had someone who's a better at parenting, and they were better at parenting because they were a Cutco sales rep, right? Now, you might be thinking, oh, come on, you're just projecting. Well, I've been in the business long enough to see that happen a lot, right? Not that I've seen somebody necessarily cure cancer, but I've seen people have huge world impact, either directly that worked with us, or people that, they worked with other people and helped empower other people. So that gets me pretty fired up. So think about what it is that we invest. $0, a few days of training, some advanced trainings, and some workshops. And you've got a $30,000 to $50,000 a year part-time opportunity, $100,000 to $400,000 a year full-time opportunity. Pretty great. Compare that to most business opportunities, like, let's say, a franchise at McDonald's. So the total investment necessary to begin operating a traditional McDonald's is $1 million. It's basically $1 to $2 million. Okay, and this includes a $45,000 just application fee. To start, right? How much money do I have to have? McDonald's requires each applicant to have a minimum of $500,000 of unencumbered liquid assets available to invest in McDonald's restaurant. Is there training? Sure, there's training. It's 12 to 18 months of part-time training. Okay, I don't think that it's even paid. 12 to 18 months of training, and then people typically are, and once they get through the training, they don't get to decide where their McDonald's is. If they, if they live in California and they say, oh, your McDonald's is going to be in Idaho, or your McDonald's is going to be in Vermont, or your McDonald's is going to be in Montana, you just go. That's what you do. Why do people do it? Because they want to be able to be in charge, right? They want to be able to be on the risk side, but McDonald's, a franchise, it's a proven system, is mitigating the risk. So you're getting kind of the best, you're getting the secure risk, I guess, which is what Vector is. It's very secure risk. As long as someone does their job and works like they're supposed to, we know what the kind of averages that there's going to be. Compare the Cutco opportunity, and by the way, someone who wants to be an office manager, there is a little bit of investment for that. I think within the virtual world, it's probably about $3,000, $2,500 to $3,000, and the company matches that with some matching funds for advertising and some other things. It's unheard of. I mean, people who've started their own businesses and had to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars or $1 million or more, they cannot believe that we have people in our business. They basically had almost no startup costs to speak of, and the company even gave them money to start. That is what the management opportunity looks like. To finalize some of my thoughts right here, I just want to let you know that our opportunity, whether it be in sales or certainly in management, is a very rewarding type of opportunity. It's a very rewarding financially, certainly very rewarding emotionally, and it's very fulfilling. Well, the point is, you're in the right place at the right time, right? You've got a real opportunity to succeed here. And I'm not suggesting that every single person that works with us should be a Cutco manager for the rest of their life, right? That's not even the point. That's not even what we even want to necessarily have happen, right? It wouldn't even make any sense. Everybody, we wouldn't have room for everybody. It's totally okay to work with us for a few months and then to take their experience and do something else. It's totally okay to work with us for a few years and to take that experience and do something else. It's probably the best overall benefit that someone gets from working with us is probably to be a sales rep for 1 year-ish, 1 year to 6 months to a year, be an assistant manager for 6 months to a year, and then get an opportunity to be a branch manager and actually train their own group of people, interview, train, get that experience, looks unbelievable on a resume, and maybe even be a district manager for a few years. Someone who becomes a district manager, if they get that promotion, the expectation is that it's a 3-year deal, okay? 3 year or more, right? Anything less than 3 years is really difficult for anybody to really think that they really gave the right effort to build their business properly. But in 3 years' time, people have experienced, the full cycle of a year a few different times. They've built up some leaders, and then they can kind of decide what's next for them. So whatever level you are, whether you want to commit for a month, whether you want to commit to 3 months, whether you want to commit to 2 years or 3 years, whatever it is you feel comfortable or you feel like you can commit to, you may not even know. You may want to talk to somebody about it and get some advice, a Vector manager, or talk to me. I'm open for that. But what I do think you should do is go as far as you can go. And then once you get there, you'll be able to see to go further. You'll know what it is that might be next for you. So if you decide, hey, I'm going to give this job a month, okay, I'm going to work this job up for a month. During that month, you work the job. That's it. You work it. You don't dip your toe in the water and say that you worked it, okay? Because that those two things don't go hand in hand. You'll be one of those many people who think that Vector failed them. Okay, when the reality is Vector didn't fail them; they just failed Vector. They failed themselves, and that's not where you want to be, right? And we know that there's people that are going to be like that. We can't do anything about it, right? We can give people training, we can give them support, we can help them try to help them have faith, but we can't make anybody do any work, right? And so that's just the nature of our business, and we are willing to accept that fact, because if the fact of it is, even if 10 people failed and one person succeeded at a really high level, it's still, to me, worth it, right? Now, I don't like those averages, but it would still be worth it, okay? For the one person that's listening to this message that says, you know what, this makes sense to me. I get this. I'm going to do something with this information. So all I'm saying is set a goal, and when you have that goal for how long you're going to work, what you're going to do in that time, you run like the Dickens, right? I'm from the South. You run like the Dickens to make that goal happen. So we don't regret giving all, but we do regret giving up. When I was new, I remember hearing it put this way: if you need help, ask for it. If you don't need help, prove it. So with that, I will wish you well and challenge you to pick a goal and run like the Dickens to hit the goal, right? What is it we heard in Pitch Perfect? Make good choices, right? Because it's all about choices. Take care.